For many people, the perfect house has to tick off the following criteria: a pool, adequate space, beautiful floors, and far, far away from power lines. But what exactly started the public's negative impression of power lines? Well, we have to thank a 2002 study by the International Agency for Research on Cancer for that. The paper focused on a possible correlation between the proximity to electricity power lines and cancer. The body declared that there was a possible cause of childhood leukemia for those who live near power lines, but there wasn't enough evidence for them to come to a clear decision. However, there are a lot of power lines. Does that mean all of them are dangerous? To get to the answer, we have to understand that they emit a type of radiation that is known as extremely low frequency electromagnetic fields, or EMFs. However, there's no clear explanation for how these EMFs could possibly cause leukemia. Also, every type of power line is reserved for a different purpose. For example, the largest ones transmit electricity to regional substations and can be seen across the countryside. Meanwhile, the smallest high-voltage power lines in the UK are usually mounted on wooden poles. They are often found running close to public footpaths, roads, and residential properties. These supply electricity to homes and businesses. So, if there are power lines supplying electricity to homes, does that mean it's safe to live near them? Well, under the current laws, you will need to live at least 50 meters away from a power line or substation, as living within that distance is considered a safety risk. If they're not visible from your home, a surveyor's report will highlight your proximity to them. If you're worried about EMF levels, you can also hire someone, aka the National Grid, to carry out readings. A Gauss meter will determine if the EMF significantly drops before the 50-meter threshold and continues falling the further away the reading is taken. It's important to note that the 2002 study that started all this has been challenged by recent findings. For example, a large international study in 2018 of overhead power lines and childhood leukemia found that there was no connection with cancer, even for young people living within 50 meters of a power line. Since the science cannot provide a link between living near power lines and ill health, the real issue is down to emotions. And it is this that primarily affects the price of a property close to a power line. That's because someone selling a property close to power lines may find fewer people willing to buy. As a result, the house price may be reduced to between 2% and 9% to reflect this. In summary, it may be more difficult to sell a property close to power lines due to public perception and potential issues with mortgage providers. However, with no clear scientific backing to the health scares, the reduced prices and established restrictions may be very attractive to a certain kind of home buyer.